where was the first spark in your mind that, hey, real estate might be a path for me?
Yeah. So my brother was selling like, dolls, like house items, like maybe even kids' toys there. And he was telling me that he actually he wants to expand it and he wants to make it a bit bigger. And I'm like, why make it at the flea market? Why not open a store? And why not make a better store? And why not bring this and
Mm,
bring that? Of course, I don't know how, but I think bigger. So,
that's
and
entrepreneurism right there.
that
You
is,
you think like an
yes.
entrepreneur. Yeah.
It took me
Okay.
almost visiting all banks until I finally was able to get one of the banks to say yes to loan me a $20,000 at the time. And that was not easy.
How many banks? How many
Mm,
banks did
I
you
would say
try until you
seven,
got that?
seven. I went to
Okay.
seven
And
places
what was
before.
the response for the ones who rejected you? What were they saying?
It's like it's not a business that's gonna last. It's not solid. It's not strong. You don't have previous experience. You don't have a backing. All of those things.
And how did you
And
convince the
I
seventh one
actually did
to
a
say
business
yes?
plan, which what I learned
Nice.
from college. I did a business plan, and then I did these, like the balance sheets and all of those things, and I presented them, and finally, Bank of Montreal said yes, and then they gave me 20,000, which is not a whole lot, but still it was something.
Well,
And
back then, that's a significant investment. What year are we
yes,
talking about?
it was probably 1990.
Okay, yeah, that's a good amount of money to start a small
Of
business.
course, yes. And we rented a place, and we actually the place was 2,000 square feet, and I only made it about 500. We had like a wall, that divided it, and not even
Okay.
within the first year that whole wall went all the way back because we were thriving and did well. And during that time, there was a brokerage across the road, and there was a broker manager that was very, very well respected in the real estate industry. He would come every day, buy like gum or water or something from the dollar store. And then he would see
Hmm.
me interact with clients, and he would say, Tahani, I love how you're so like, passionate, and you love your clients, and you should consider real estate. You should consider real estate. You should consider real estate. And
Wow.
after a year, I told my brother, well, look, now we have an inventory of $200,000 inventory in the store instead of like 20,000. It was a thriving store, doing so well. The first dollar store in Cambridge, Ontario at the time. Remember the dollar store craze? That was the first one in this city that,
Sure.
I opened. And that's when
Okay.
I've decided
Wow.
to go blindly and then try this real estate thing. And that's when I got into real estate.
So that's such a powerful moment. And I love things like that where there's a time where one thing, or in this case it was several interactions, but this one individual, he saw something in you and said something about it and encouraged that. And perhaps you would have found it without it, but how powerful is that? And I think, Tani, you probably do that as a mentor, and we all have opportunities like that where we see potential in someone and we take the time to say, are you aware
Mhm.
that you can do this? Because probably in that moment, you had never thought about real estate up to that point.
Mm-mm. But that's
Right.
a very powerful observation. That's very, very powerful. But I also think for all the listeners, it's also important for them to be doing something to reach the next step
Mm.
and the next step. You don't just sit and expect someone to see the greatness in you. You have to be doing something, and then someone can see the greatness. And that's what happened there.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, because you were going out of your way to take care of customers, that's what created that moment. Okay, so you started to go into real estate. Can you just kind of talk to me about the journey of the first few years of that for you?
Yes. I would say that the first, maybe, let's say, 7 years of my real estate career as a realtor were up and down. And there is a few things that were going on in my mind is it like residential was more of an emotional purchase with buyers and sellers, because it's like, oh, I love this house, and that wasn't talking to me personally. I'm like, okay, I like it, but not I love it. Until I actually found real estate investing. And that's when I go, oh my gosh, this is what I love.
For those who are not familiar with the definition of real estate investing, what do you mean by that?
For anyone that wants to buy and sell houses to make profit and build wealth. So it's not
Okay.
just to own it, but really to do it as a side hustle. And for some people, they can do it as a full time. But I was helping a lot of side hustle, kind of like engineers, teachers, nurses, people that have a little bit extra of money and they want to grow that money, but through real estate instead of like stocks or bonds or any other investment.
Okay. So initially it was you helping others, not doing it yourself.
Correct.
And
I
then
was,
later it became you.
yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, that's
You
exactly
just got
it.
tired of seeing all them making all that money, and you were just getting a commission. You're like, wait a minute, I should be doing this, right?
You know what happened is that I came from a place of, I don't know much about real estate investing, but I'm willing to
Mm.
learn all, I'm willing to find you what you're looking for. This is what I would tell my clients. I'm like, look, I don't know everything, but I'm willing to find you the right property. And then you tell me what you're looking for. And then I'll go out there. So my willingness is what people saw in me, and my hard work ethics, my, being, a person that's willing to help them get what they want. And then I saw what they do. And then I kept learning. And the more I helped, the more I learned. And then I realized, oh my goodness, this is actually unbelievable. I got to start doing it too.
Yeah, well, that goes back to that principle that we've learned about, that's just deeply wired in you, of being a continuous learner. You were helping them, you were having a career, but at the same time, you were learning about how to make that successful for yourself. If you liked this video and want to listen to the full episode, go to your favorite podcast app and subscribe to the Dave Crenshaw Success Project. You can also find all the full episodes at successproject.show.